My Lords, like the two front bench questioners, I want to particularly look at the issue of delays in courts and the impact that's having on victims. Two angles to that. One, some figures I've seen indicated about a quarter of victims are withdrawing from investigations and prosecutions, a figure that rises to 42% for rape allegations. Does the Noble Lord the Minister recognise those figures? And is the government doing anything specifically to ensure that support is provided for people in that situation? If they've stepped away from the legal process, what support is actually available to them? Because it's clear the impact of that, as the Noble Lord Paddick was indicating, is likely to continue for very many years after the court process has been dropped. And secondly, picking up the point from the Noble Lord the Minister about the money from the spending review, there was an article published this afternoon on the East of England BBC website quoting Stephen Halloran of Lawson's solicitors, referring specifically to the extra funding that the Noble Lord the Minister referred to. And Mr Halloran estimates that on current figures, the Crown Court backlog is only going to reduce by about 7,000 cases over the next 3 years. And he indicated that his firm is already seeing cases listed in the Crown Courts well into 2023, and he's expecting to see cases listed in 2024 very soon. So, essentially, I'm going to ask the Noble Lord the Minister, will he agree? I'm sure he won't. But is it not clear that the money is just not enough and the resources are not enough to actually give victims justice?
Well, I'm grateful to the Noble Lady, and this is an area where, again, we share the same aims. So far as the statistics are concerned, I don't recognise the precise statistics she mentioned, although I'm not sure I was able to note them down quickly enough. What I can say is that the percentage of investigations closed because the victim doesn't support further police action is now at roughly 60% of investigations. That's a continuation of a longer-term trend. And, of course, the effect of the pandemic, which has, I'm afraid, increased the delay in cases coming to trial, is probably part of the reason why more victims may have been withdrawing from the process. One brighter point in the statistics is that it does seem that there are more victims coming forward. There's been an increase in the number of recorded adult rape offences since 2019 and indeed since Q1 of this year. Now, I mean, the Noble Lady will understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's good that there's been an increase in rapes. Of course I'm not. The point is that it's good that victims feel able to come forward when there has been a crime. And what we are very concerned about is victims who suffer a crime and then don't come forward, don't feel able to come forward. So somewhat counterintuitively, that actually is a brighter spot in the statistics. But there's plainly work to be done, and I hope I've been very candid about that. So far as the backlog is concerned, in addition to what I said earlier, we have to be a little careful with statistics. There are cases, for example, where a trial date will be given sometime in the future, maybe even into 2023, because Trial B may be a follow-on trial from Trial A, and it can't be listed until Trial A has concluded. I'm not suggesting that all cases fall into that category. I'm only saying that we have to be a little bit careful with looking at mere listing of a trial as an indication necessarily that the system couldn't accommodate that trial earlier. Sometimes that might be the case, sometimes it won't. There were also issues of counsel availability. There were also cases where some courts have a practice of actually giving 2 dates for a trial, an earlier date which may not take place, and then a hard later date. Some courts do that. But I do accept that we certainly want to bring rape trials on, indeed all trials on, more quickly than happens at the moment. I would say, however, that it's not just the time from first court appearance to trial that's very important. We must also look at the time from reporting the offence to charge, and then from charge to first appearance in court. the time, I think, where a victim feels most vulnerable and most lost in the system is when the victim doesn't even know when there's going to be a charge. So focusing on that initial period from when the victim goes into the police station, if I can say, to when a charge is brought is also a very important element of the system.